up, guys? Ted from Nerd Immersion here. My voice is still not 100% yet, but we're going to keep trucking through these to get them all out while they're relevant. So next up on the list of comparisons for Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica is the Order Domain Cleric. We saw this appear in its Unearthed Arcana, and we're going to see how it looks compared to the finalized version in the actual published source. I can't remember. I remember I looked at this when it came out. I don't even think I did a video on it. And I actually wasn't really that impressed with it on first glance. So we'll see if my thoughts have changed. So let's dive in. Thank you to the suggestion on YouTube to try to just do it side by side rather than flipping. I usually didn't do it side by side because the camera ends up blocking out a large portion of the screen. But whatever, we'll go through. So we've got Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica here on D&D Beyond on the right, and the Unearthed Arcana on the left. So we can start off by seeing our command or our domain spells here, and we'll compare the two. Command, Heroism. All right, so we had Enhance Ability, Hold Person. That has gone to Hold Person in Zone of Truth. Mass Healing Word and Slow are the same. Compulsion, Locate Creature the same. Commune, Dominate Person the same. So just a little swap of losing Enhance Ability for Zone of Truth. I'm fine with that. I think Zone of Truth is a better spell, so good on that. Heavy Armor Proficiency, you get that here. You also now get Intimidation or Persuasion as a skill. That's new. Voice of Authority. Immediately after you cast a spell on an ally using a spell slot of first level or higher, that ally can use their reaction to make a weapon attack against a target of your choice. If the spell targets more than one ally, you can choose the ally that makes the attack. Cast spell first or higher, ally. Yeah, so that is the same. And as I do remember doing a review of this now. And you're like a rogue's best friend if you're this kind of cleric. Because you could do something like Healing Word as a bonus action. That's still a first level spell or higher. It doesn't specify that it's as an action, just a spell of first level or higher on an ally. And you can still do your action, whatever you want to do, attack, maybe throw a cantrip out there, whatever the case may be. But because this breaks the action economy for the rogue, so they can sneak attack on their turn. If it's a turn later and they make an attack, that is not their turn. They can sneak attack again. Normally, you have to try to find a way to make this work. Whether it's an opportunity attack, whether it's a fighter, battle master, like letting you do this. This is a way to pretty much consistently do that because there is no limitation on your ability to cast this. It's just as long as you have spell slots of first level or higher. All right, at second level, we got Channel Divinity, Order's Demand. As an action, present your holy symbol. Each creature of your choice that can see or hear you within 30 feet must make a wisdom save or be charmed by you until the end of your next turn. You can also cause any of the target's creatures to fall prone when they fail the save. This has changed, but for the most part, it is the same. Action, holy symbol, 30 feet, wisdom save, charmed until, let's see, charmed by you until the end of your turn until the charmed creature takes damage. And this is, okay, end of your next turn. But now rather than them falling prone, you can have them drop whatever they're holding. So I get it. Making people fall prone is way overpowered because if you were to pair the second level ability with that first level ability, you could action, try to make everybody charmed with your Channel Divinity, force them to drop prone, cast Healing Word on your rogue or your paladin or whatever your heavy melee hitter is, rogue for this example. Now they can attack that target that's prone with advantage if they're in melee, potentially sparking a crit to then allow you to do crazy crit damage because you had that advantage, and they get to act out of turn because of your Voice of Authority. So I get it, drop what they're holding. Don't get me wrong, this has a bunch of uses as well. There's not a lot of disarm abilities in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There's like the one maneuver for the fighter that lets you force people to drop what they're holding. This has a bunch of implications, but it's very specific to the scenario, right? Like, do they only have a shield? Force them to drop the shield. Now their AC goes down by 2. Do they have a weapon or something that allows them to parry or whatever? If that's one of their abilities, they can drop that. Do they have the very fragile thing that you're trying to destroy? You make them drop it. They drop their spell book. Whatever the case may be, there's uses for it. but the original version dropping prone, way better, but probably less balanced. At level 6, we get Order's Dominion. When you cast the spell of the Enchantment School using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, you regain 1 expended spell slot. The slot you regain must be of a level lower than the spell you cast and can't be higher than 5th level. I believe this is exactly the same. If you cast a spell of the Enchantment School 1st level or higher... oh no, they changed it quite a bit. If you cast a spell of the Enchantment School 1st level or higher, you can change the spell's casting time to a bonus action, provided that its normal casting time is 1 action, and now you can do this Wisdom modifier times per long rest. So the enchantment, the Order's Dominion in the Unearthed Arcana, I believe, was basically a direct rip of the Enchantment Wizard's ability, one of their early level things. So let's take a look real quick, and I will, on my phone here, just pull up all of the Cleric enchantment spells, and we'll see what that is. So for base Clerics, this would now, in the Unearthed Arcana, we're taking that action casting time to turn it into a bonus action. That would allow us things like Bane, Bless, Command, Calm Emotions, Hold Person. That's always a good one if you could do that as a bonus action and then hit them. So it's like bonus action, you are now paralyzed from the Hold Person. Now I can hit you with advantage, and if I hit you, it's an auto crit. So that has the potential. Or again, actually, there's a way you could do this too. You could bonus action Hold Person and then cast Guidance on somebody else. Oh, Guidance is a cantrip. Never mind. Retroactive. We'll remove that thought. Suggestion. Well, again, now I'm getting into these don't work because this is for different domains. And then Geas is the only one, but that doesn't count because its casting time is a minute, not an action. So really, your base Cleric spells that are a 1st level or higher that would benefit from this are Bane, Bless, Command, Calm Emotions, Hold Person, and Zone of Truth. Now we have up here a couple of things that may be outside of that. Let's see. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that the Slow spell is enchantment. No, it's not. Huh. Compulsion? Alright. Compulsion, that would be a enchantment spell, and Dominate Person would be an enchantment spell. So you would get access to make your Compulsion from your Order Domain and Dominate Person also be bonus action. So it's not that great, honestly. I mean, in my opinion, you're very limited in what you can do. But I'm not saying you couldn't make very clutch moves by bonus action. Like I said, the bonus action Hold Person or Dominate Person, and then also still having an action, whether it's to paralyze them and then try to hit them for a crit. That has some pretty good potential, and we'll talk about that as we get into the next little bit here. So at 8th level, it was Divine Strike, typical Cleric ability. You add a D8 when you make an attack, and an extra D8 at 14th level. In the Unearthed Arcana, it was Force damage. Here in the published source, it's now Psychic damage. Not really sure why the change, but Force damage is one of the least resisted, so maybe that was the thought on making it Psychic. Rare, but not as rare. And then Order's Wrath. If you deal your Divine Strike damage to a creature, that creature takes an extra 2d8 Force damage the first time each turn that an ally of yours hits it with a weapon attack. This benefit lasts until the start of your next turn. Alright, so this is now in the published source. If you deal your Divine Strike damage to a creature on your turn, you can curse that creature until the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack, the target also takes 2d8 psychic damage and the curse ends. You can curse a creature in this way only once per turn. So it is still, again, it went from Force to Psychic, marrying the other things. And this was if you deal Divine Strike damage to a creature, the first time each turn that an ally of yours hits a creature with a weapon attack. Wait, let me reread that. If you deal your Divine Strike damage to a creature, that creature takes an extra 2d8 Force damage the first time each turn that an ally of yours hits it with a weapon attack. This benefit lasts until the start of your next turn. So it's kind of wonky how it's written the first time each turn. So I guess this turn, that means like where you are in the initiative order is very important. Because if it happens this turn and an ally hits them, they take 2d8 force damage. And then at the start of the next turn, if someone goes before you, that's a new turn. So it's a way to get 2 people to get 2d8 force damage. But in the published source, you deal your Divine Strike damage to a creature on your turn and then curse it till the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack, the target also takes 2d8 damage and the curse ends. So that kind of sums that up. One time somebody gets 2d8 psychic damage. However, if we jump back to our embodiment of law feature that we talked about earlier on, you could then bonus action hold person someone, then make an attack, potentially dealing at 17th level with your Divine Strike ability an extra 2d8 psychic damage. And then if you do that, hit them, you have advantage on the attack because they're paralyzed. If you hit them, it's an automatic crit, so you're doing whatever your base damage is, plus an extra 48 because of the psychic damage dice being doubled. And then they're also cursed, and the next time an ally hits them, they take 2d8 psychic damage. But if they're still paralyzed, then it's an auto crit for the ally if it's a melee attack, and then that ally gets an extra 48 psychic damage. A lot of potential for some really cool, interesting ways to stack with other members of your party and really do a lot of damage depending on how you look at it. And that's kind of how I envision the Order Cleric, right? They're sort of someone there that's to put order to things. They're all about the law and wrath and all of this stuff. I imagine them as a pretty good battlefield commander. So I think they can play that role very well, especially forcing people to drop what they're holding and also commanding allies to take an attack rather. I think that's pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm really okay with all of the changes made. I think they make more sense. They're more balanced. The spell swap is a better spell. And I think that this kind of Order's Dominion in the Unearthed Arcana was very much niched to the Enchantment Wizard. Now with this one, with the bonus action spell, it's a mechanic that's rarely used and kind of the quicken spell of the sorcerer, so it's kind of gives it a little more, and it feels a little fresh, I guess, in my mind. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will join you next time as we go through the changes, the very unfortunate changes to the Circle of Spores Druid. I'll see you next time.